This is the fabulous Mother Diva, and I am here at the Strategic Investment Insights Conference. Now, if you all been following me on YouTube, you know that this is the conference that's formerly known as the Chicago Resource Expo, and I have a ton of videos on my YouTube page. And this conference is basically a conference that showcases various mining companies, junior mining companies, but as of the last few years, the conference has opened it up to other industries such as technology, cannabis. This time we had a breast cancer imaging company. And I am here with Mr. Scott Melbye, who is the CEO of Uranium Energy Corporation. Now, for those of you who do not know what uranium is, Scott, can you give us the definition of uranium?
Absolutely.
And it has nothing to do with Uranus.
No, that's right.
Okay.
Mother Diva, it's great to be on your show with your viewers here. Yeah, uranium is a green energy commodity. It is the fuel for nuclear power, which we're here in Chicago provides in Illinois over 50-60% of our electricity. What's great about nuclear power is it's as carbon free as wind and solar. It's as safe as wind and solar. But when you have polar vortexes and weather extremes like you have here in Illinois, it runs 95% of the time, as opposed to renewables that run 30% of the time.
So can you give me some examples of what products and services may utilize uranium?
So anyone who uses electricity. So in the United States, nuclear power is 20% of our electricity. This is 55% of our carbon-free energy. But the way of looking at it is 1 in 5 homes in the U.S. is powered by nuclear energy. And that's kind of an interesting fact, because I don't think in the U.S. or in many places we really think where our electricity comes from. But it's all becoming more evident now with Russia, Ukraine, and embargoes on oil and gas and coal from Russia and everything else. We're beginning to think, okay, where do we get our energy supplies? And with regards to nuclear power, we have 93 reactors in the U.S. We've built globally 62 in the last 8 years, 54 more under construction. Why are we growing in nuclear power? Because it's being increasingly viewed as a green energy source that can be a perfect complement to wind and solar. We're not competing with wind and solar and renewables. We're actually the reliable, clean energy backup to that. And if we're not producing electricity from nuclear power, it's going to have to come from coal or oil and gas. And we know society's pressures on fossil fuels. So, we think that all of these commodities have an important part in the mix, but society is moving us to decarbonize and in many cases go completely carbon-free within the next 10, 20, 30 years. And so nuclear is really growing as a result of being able to deliver reliable power and clean power.
Now, I understand in doing my research about your corporation, you had the opportunity to testify before the United States Senate. What was the reason that you decided to do that, and why did you have to do it twice?
Well, the good news is I wasn't in trouble.
Okay, so, that's good. You weren't like Mark Zuckerberg
if
in the
you're
Facebook.
Like Dorsey or Zuckerberg or the pharmaceutical guy, you're in trouble.
Okay.
I was actually come to testify before the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee and talk about how we can regain leadership in American nuclear energy and uranium mining. And so these two opportunities to testify were really speaking to that and really America's loss of control over critical and strategic minerals and energy commodities that are important to our economy and our national security. And so it was really speaking to the ability of nuclear power to play a larger role in our energy mix, but also producing more uranium from the United States and less from countries like Russia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, which surprisingly enough, we get 50% of our uranium from in the United States. With everything going on in Ukraine, this is becoming obviously a risk management mistake by the utility companies. But our message is, hey, we can ramp up production in states like Texas and Wyoming, where our company is based. We have the world's leading standards of health, safety, environment. We can mine using a very environmentally friendly technique called in situ recovery, which even the most hardened environmentalist would look at the way we mine uranium in Texas and Wyoming and be very impressed that we're good stewards of the environment.
Well, let me ask you this, because in testifying before the U.S. Senate, in part were your goals in either one of those hearings to possibly get some laws or bills passed?
It's amazing.
This is an election year, so this is a good time
and
to threaten folks.
as
Pass these laws if you want our vote.
Well, what's amazing in our industry today, and this is a very rarity in our society, we're very polarized. We've never been more polarized politically.
Okay.
But uranium and nuclear power is a bipartisan issue that's supported by Democrats and Republicans. Whether it's the carbon-free aspect
and the Green Party.
Yeah, and so,
I'm a Green Party.
and it's one of them. I mean, nothing's greener than carbon-free energy, and so. Some of the most successful legislation that's passed through the United States Congress in the past 3 or 4 years has been nuclear energy legislation, either promoting the advance in small modular reactors, like going into Wyoming and Idaho and eastern Washington.
And I'm noticing a lot of green jobs, especially in Illinois, come with incentives like never before. A lot of companies are having these green positions. You're seeing it everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like it's become the next big thing.
And I'll give you a good example is, in Wyoming, where one of our production hub and spoke platforms is. This is historically coal country. This is one of the largest coal producing states in regions in the world. So this nuclear power plant coming in to replace what is a retiring coal-fired plant in the next 5 years really speaks to that, because it's not really genuine to tell a coal worker in Wyoming, oh, well, you can make solar panels or you can make windmills. Many of these are made abroad in China and elsewhere. But here's an example where the coal-fired power plant shuts down, the nuclear plant is constructed, it plugs into the existing grid connections, and these are comparable job skills. So these people don't have to leave towns that they've lived in generations. They can continue to live and work in the area in which they grew up and love. And so this is truly not only a green energy story, but it's also employment, economic development in those states that are going to be impacted. It's not surprising. Joe Manchin from West Virginia, a Democrat, wants the same thing in his state of West Virginia. So we have a really wonderful opportunity, but we've got to step up, build these plants on time, on budget, and we have to develop the fuel cycle. Companies like ours need to be bringing on uranium mining development so we can supply more of that from here and less from Russia.
And if someone wanted to invest in your company, what are your numbers?
Yeah, so UEC is traded on the New York Stock Exchange. We're one of the most liquid, high-volume trading stocks in the uranium space. Our ticker symbol is UEC on the NYSE.
Okay.
We also have a sister company, which is Uranium Royalty Corp, which is on the NASDAQ as UROY, UROY. And that's kind of a diversified approach to investing in uranium. UEC is a pure play in a uranium mining development, really one of the leading American uranium mining companies emerging. So again, encourage folks to invest in uranium as a green energy investment. And
what are the numbers? What price?
So UEC's been trading in the $4 to $5 a share range. I think year to date we were up 77% until this recent pullback in global stocks. I think we've fallen 34% from that high. But nothing's changed with our company and our industry. The fundamentals remain unchanged. So my point is, if you're looking for an entry point, always good to buy on the dip. We've definitely had a pullback with broad stocks, so it's a good time to get your favorite uranium companies on sale in the equities markets. So.
Well, Scott, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us here at Mother Diva'S house, and thank you for watching, and we'll be right back.